Desire, when it is real, does not scream. It whispers from the depths of the soul. Carl Gustav Jung. Since I began exploring the hidden paths of the human soul, I realized that female desire cannot be explained solely by biology or the logic of impulses. Many men believe that a woman's desire functions like a switch that can be activated with sweet words or superficial gestures, but that is a widespread misconception and shows a deep ignorance of a woman's soulful reality. True desire arises from inner awareness. It is not merely a reaction to another's body or an automatic response to a well-executed seduction. Female desire is an echo of the soul. It arises when a woman feels seen, not just looked at, when she feels recognized, not just desired. In depth psychology, we understand desire as a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. And in a woman, this bridge is adorned with symbols, intuitions, archetypal memories, and emotions that cannot be reached through empty words. If her soul does not feel called, the body does not respond with truth. Even if she pretends, even if she smiles, a part of her will remain closed. Many men do not fail due to a lack of beauty, power, or intelligence, but because they do not understand that female desire demands presence, not just attention, depth, not just intensity. When a woman connects with a man on a level where she is allowed to be herself, without judgment, when her shadows are accepted just like her light, then her desire awakens like a sacred flame, slow, warm, and steady. This is not the desire exploited by modern culture. It is the desire ignited deep within the collective unconscious. That desire Jung recognized as one of the strongest forces of the human soul. And you? Have you ever truly been present before a woman's desire, or only before her outer image? Our desires do not arise in the here and now. They are ancient. They come from the dreams of our ancestors. When I speak about female desire, it is not from a purely personal perspective. I speak with the certainty that every human impulse has deeper roots than our immediate consciousness. Desire, especially female desire, is nourished by the collective unconscious, that vast ocean of shared human experiences that connects us through symbols, archetypes, and inherited emotions for centuries. Few men understand that to awaken a woman's desire, one must not appeal to her ego, but to her soul. And the soul responds to symbols, not arguments. A woman may be drawn to someone without knowing why. Perhaps it is the way a man enters a room. Perhaps his silence, his way of looking, his ability to endure emotions without running away. That is no coincidence. These are archetypal signals. They are calls from the darkness of the unconscious, where figures such as the animus, the hero, the lover, and the wise one reside. Each of these inner figures activates a sleeping part of her being. The man who manages to connect with these archetypes, not through superficial imitation, but from his most honest essence, has the ability to touch female desire on a level that cannot be rationally explained. Do you know why many fail? Because they try to seduce without knowing themselves. The female unconscious senses falsehood long before she consciously realizes it. A man who does not know his own shadows, his own wounds and traumas, will hardly awaken the deepest desire in a woman, that which stems from archetypal depths. It is not about conquest, it is about resonance. Female desire does not respond to external noise, but to the inner vibration of a man who has met himself. That's why you should not first ask how to awaken a woman's desire, but whether you already feel the desire for your own truth. No one can wear a mask forever without their soul beginning to bleed. One of the greatest illusions men have about female desire is the thought that they must become what the woman expects. Many try to show strength, security, or even vulnerability, but it all remains a mask, a calculated intent to provoke a certain reaction. And that is where everything begins to fall apart. The woman, especially one connected to her inner self, does not want a perfect man, but an authentic one. What truly ignites her deepest desire is not that he conforms to her expectations, but that he shows himself as he truly is, with his doubts, his wounds, his shadows. The female soul does not seek perfection. It seeks truth. True intimacy, the kind that nourishes the deepest and most lasting desire, does not arise in physical contact, but in the moment two souls dare to meet each other without fear. Female desire blossoms when the woman feels that she is allowed to remove her masks before a man who has also removed his. In Jungian theory, we call this process individuation, the path to oneself in wholeness. If this path is taken together, an emotional resonance arises so deep that desire becomes a sacred act, not a transaction. But that takes courage, the courage to reveal oneself without decoration, the courage to say, "This is me, with all the light and darkness within me." I have seen many men wondering why they no longer evoke desire in their relationship. The answer almost always lies in their alienation from their true self. They are so far removed from themselves that they no longer radiate that vital energy a woman recognizes as true presence. Just as the body reacts to a scent, the female soul reacts to authenticity. In a relationship where both are allowed to feel themselves and each other, desire does not die. It changes, transforms, matures, but it never disappears, for a soul that has truly been touched does not forget. Desire, when it is real, is a dance between two souls recognizing each other in the invisible. One of the most common mistakes made when speaking of desire is to reduce it to a biological function. In a world addicted to the immediate and superficial, desire is often misunderstood as a mere physical impulse, an automatic response of the body to external stimuli. But that not only reduces its meaning, it also dehumanizes it. From my perspective as a psychiatrist and soul researcher, I can say, true feminine desire, the kind that transforms, touches, leaves traces, does not arise from the flesh, but from the soul. It is a deep experience that emerges when an unconscious part of the woman senses that something within her has been touched, symbolically and emotionally. Feminine desire ignites when there is spiritual resonance, when the body is not merely looked at but understood as the temple of the soul, when emotion is not forced but felt with respect and presence, when a man does not seek to possess but to connect. That is the difference between an empty encounter and one that transforms. I have heard many men say, "She no longer desires me." But few ask themselves, have I stopped touching her soul? Have I stopped listening to what she does not say? Have I lost the ability to look beyond her gestures and recognize the emotional story she carries? Because when a woman feels emotionally safe, when she senses that she can surrender without being exploited, reduced, or overlooked, then desire flows like a river that has long been held back. It is not a desire that imposes. It is a desire that invites, receives, embraces. The feminine soul does not desire through logic, but through intuition, through symbols, through what vibrates beyond words. And to reach that place, a man must learn to dwell in silence, to hear the invisible, to feel before acting. The body can be touched with hands, but the soul only with true presence. And that is the kind of desire that does not die with the years, that does not fade with time, because it arises from the most eternal place within us. The feminine soul does not give itself to the one who desires her, but to the one who understands her. A question many men ask themselves silently is, what truly ignites a woman's desire? Many get lost in a world of cultural confusion and shifting social rules, desperately trying to impress, please, or dominate. But the feminine soul does not respond to effort, it responds to authenticity. What does that mean? A present man is not only physically there, he is someone who inhabits himself, who does not avoid his story, who does not fear his darkness, who embraces his contradictions, and has made peace with his wounds. He is a man who does not need to pretend, because his mere presence speaks for him. And that is deeply erotic to a woman's soul. Feminine desire is not a door that can be unlocked with tricks. It is a flower that opens when it feels the light of authenticity and the warmth of emotional safety. A woman desires deeply when she feels safe to reveal herself fully, not only with her body, but with her soul, her fears, her intuition, her wild ideas, and most vulnerable feelings. And this happens only when a man does not try to fix her, control her, or possess her, but simply is there, accepts her, honors her. We live in a time where masculinity is often confused with hardness, emotional coldness, or arrogance. But true masculinity, the one that touches the feminine soul, is both firm and compassionate, decisive and calm, powerful and free from violence. A woman does not desire the man who presents himself as invincible, but the one who has the courage to be human. Because in shared vulnerability, intimacy is born, one that goes beyond the physical and awakens the deepest desire. And I'll tell you one more thing. When a man learns to be truly present, he doesn't need to do anything extraordinary to be desired, because his very existence, when aligned with his essence, becomes a silent yet irresistible call. Desire not only shows us what we long for, but also what we still lack within ourselves. Feminine desire is not a mere instinctive reaction to external stimuli. It is a refined expression of the soul, a quiet language full of symbols, hidden meanings, inner calls that speak of both light and shadow. Many men believe that a woman's desire can be understood with logic or conquered with external formulas. But the feminine soul does not respond to structures. It responds to symbols, to archetypal resonance, to emotional truths that cannot always be put into words. And here comes one of the most important concepts in depth psychology, the shadow. The shadow encompasses all that we have repressed, denied, or avoided in ourselves. And especially in intimate relationships, it is often this shadow that is activated when desire arises. A woman can indeed feel desire, and simultaneously fear. She may want to surrender and pull away at the same time, not because she doesn't want the man, but because she is afraid to reveal herself completely. She fears being hurt, or even deeper, truly being seen. Likewise, the man also projects his shadow. He may desire the woman, but he fears rejection. He fears not being enough. He fears surrendering and losing control. These fears are not signs of weakness, they are part of the human soul. And when they are acknowledged with awareness and compassion, they can be integrated into the relationship, creating a much more authentic bond. A relationship in which desire is real is not one without conflict, but one in which both are willing to look at their shadows without fleeing, and love each other anyway, even if what comes to light is neither pretty, nor easy, nor ideal. When a man is able to hold not only the light of a woman, but also her darkness, her anger, her sadness, her insecurities, then she can undress not only physically, but also emotionally and spiritually. And that is where desire reaches its highest form. as a bridge between two whole souls, not perfect, but deeply human. That's why feminine desire is not simply something to be triggered. It is an invitation to an inner journey. And only men who have faced their own shadow are truly ready to accompany a woman in discovering hers. In this encounter of integrated shadow, desire transforms into spiritual energy. It does not consume. It creates. It does not exhaust. It heals. It does not seek to possess. It connects. True love does not destroy desire. It purifies it, transforms it, elevates it. There is a deep, rarely understood moment when desire ceases to be an uncontrollable fire and becomes a guiding force of the soul. That is when we speak of conscious desire. And this state, however subtle it may seem, marks a radical difference in the way a woman connects, desires, and surrenders. Few men have understood that feminine desire, when it arises from depth, changes over time. At first, it may appear like volcanic fire, full of emotion, attraction, and projection. But when this energy is held with respect and awareness, it evolves into something more lasting, something sacred. A kind of alchemy that touches the core of human being. Conscious feminine desire does not want to possess or dominate. It wants to unite without losing itself. It wants to connect without disappearing. It is a dance between two beings who see each other and choose each other, not out of need, but out of inner freedom. And this freedom can only emerge when both have done the work to truly know themselves. In such a connection, desire does not die, it refines itself, it becomes quieter, deeper, more symbolic. It is no longer about physical touch, but about a shared, energetic space in which one soul gently touches the other, even without words, even without visible gestures. Yet this level of desire is not what we see in movies or on social media. It is neither theatrical nor immediate. It is a mature, conscious desire that does not want to fill emptiness, but to celebrate presence. I have seen many couples lose themselves because they confused desire with urgency, because they believed that love was over when the initial fire faded. But the feminine soul knows true desire does not disappear. It transforms. And in order to transform, desire needs space, presence, and deep mutual acceptance. A man who understands this no longer fears that his partner is changing, that her body is changing, or that her desire is expressed in other ways, because he has learned to read desire not only on the skin, but also in the silence, in her gaze, in the way she breathes when she feels safe. And a woman who feels this way, held, honored, accompanied, does not need to be seduced. Her desire blooms on its own because she has found a place where she can live her femininity, without fear, without judgment, without hurry. In this state, desire becomes a form of conscious love, an energy that not only connects bodies, but also heals wounds, strengthens bonds, and reveals the divine in the human. Where true desire exists, there is a soul calling to be recognized. Carl Gustav Jung. After everything we have explored, one clear, radiant truth remains. Feminine desire is not a goal to be reached, but a path to be walked with awareness. In my life as a psychiatrist, I have seen how misunderstood desire produces suffering, misunderstandings and broken relationships, but also how it miraculously transforms when it is recognized as a call from the soul, as a symbol of what has not yet been integrated in us. Many men want to conquer the woman without first having conquered their own shadow. They try to seduce without ever having met their own soul. Thus, desire becomes an outer battle instead of an inner revelation. But the true encounter, the one that ignites the deepest and most enduring desire, happens when two people, have done the work to come home to themselves. When a man shows himself authentically, without masks, without techniques, without fear of being seen, and a woman can respond from the same place, desire ceases to be a search and becomes mutual recognition, as if the soul were saying, "I have been waiting for you." This kind of desire is rare, taught nowhere, but it is accessible to those who have the courage to look inward, to do the deep inner work, to endure silence and walk alongside the soul. And now I ask you, are you ready to stop chasing desire and instead to inhabit it? Are you ready to look inside yourself and discover which part of your soul is still waiting to be touched? Because only when you awaken to your own truth can you truly touch the truth of another. If this message resonated with you, if you felt something stir within, share this video with someone who needs to hear these words. Write to me in the comments what you've learned about true desire. And if you want to continue exploring the human soul from a deep Jungian perspective, subscribe to Ascends Jungs and activate the bell. The journey to the soul has just begun, and conscious desire can become its most powerful guide.